Hello students, welcome to the class. We have completed with extraction of metals from our previous class. Now we'll move to the last concept in the unit, which is the process of purification of extracted metal, which is referred to as the process refining, which is the final step in the metallurgical process. What is refining or what is purification of extracted metals? If you take whatever is the process in the extraction of metals, they associate certain impurities from the extracted source. Hence, we cannot say that the extracted metal is completely pure. Hence, the process which is used for removing all the available impurities is referred to as refining. Hence, the process of removing all the impurities from extracted metal is referred to as refining. The process of removing all the impurities from the extracted metal is referred to as refining. So based on the nature of the metal and the impurity associated, there are various methods of refining. So we'll try to discuss the methods from NCERT syllabus point of view. So the process of refining is based on the nature of metal and the impurity. So based on the nature of the metal and impurity, a suitable method has to be selected for refining the metal. The important types of refining or the methods of refining are, it is distillation, liquefaction, electrolytic method of refining, zone refining, vapor phase refining, and the last one, it is chromatographic method of refining. These are the important methods what we have in our discussion for understanding the process of refining. It is distillation, liquefaction, electrolytic method, zone refining, vapor phase refining, chromatographic method. Now before going to the first one, so let us briefly discuss all the methods as one more point of view. Then in detail we'll try to discuss with each particular method. Now distillation method is generally used for refining of metals which are with low boiling point. If the metal low boiling point, if the metal is with low boiling point, so refining or purification of that particular metal will be useful through the technique of distillation. Such examples you can recall, it is zinc and mercury are the best examples, so which can be easily refined through the technique of distillation, is zinc and mercury. Then if we observe liquefaction, low melting metals, it is metals which possess low melting point, can be easily refined through the technique of liquefaction. The important example you can remember, it is tin, one of the metal with low melting point. So can be remembered for liquation method of refining. So low melting point containing metals can be easily refined through liquation. Then electrolytic method, so can be applicable for almost all the metals. We'll discuss that in detail. Here the impure metal which is extracted is connected as anode, and the same strip of the metal is connected as cathode in its purest form. And through the process of the electrolysis, we are going to refine the metal. That we'll try to observe. Then zone refining. So this method is useful for refining of semiconductors such as silicon, germanium, etc. Semiconductors or metals with high purity, semiconductors with high impurity, that is high purified form. So you can refine through the process of zone refining method. Next, vapor phase refining. There are two important examples through the process of Mond's process used for refining of nickel, and one more we have Van Arkel method. Van Arkel method of refining, which is used for refining of zirconium and titanium. For the refining of zirconium and titanium, so Van Arkel method will be used. That we'll try to see with simple equation forms. Then the last method, chromatographic method, already we discussed in the first PUC syllabus. That is in the unit organic chemistry introduction unit, some basic principles and techniques. So you can recall adsorption chromatography. Again, almost all the metals can be refined through this process. Now this is the brief summary of the methods available for purification of metals. That is distillation, so which is used for low boiling point metals to purify. Examples you can remember, zinc and mercury. Then liquation, which is used for low melting metals or low melting point metals to purify. Example you can remember, tin. Then electrolytic method, used for refining of almost all the metals. Zone refining for semiconductors such as silicon and germanium. Then in vapor phase refining, Mond's process for nickel. The Van Arkel method for zirconium and titanium. Then chromatographic method, so through adsorption chromatography, used for almost all the metals to purify. Now we'll discuss one by one. So we'll start with the first method. So it is distillation. As discussed in the brief information now, so distillation method of refining is used for the metals with low boiling point. Those metals which possess low boiling point can be easily refined through distillation technique. The important examples you can remember, it is zinc and mercury. If you observe how through distillation refining is carried out, as we know, in distillation, based on the difference in the boiling points, the components present in the mixture gets evaporated and their vapors are allowed through the condenser. So that condenser will allow the vapors to condense there, and the fraction will be collected as a liquid. A condensed liquid form will be considered. Now, if you observe, we'll be having the extracted metals associated with impurities. The extracted metal associated with impurity is taken and it is subjected to distillation. And in the distillation, we need to observe the boiling point of the metal and the impurity. So the metal with low boiling point will evaporate first. As a result of its faster evaporation, the low boiling point metal, due to its high rate or high escaping tendency into vapor phase, it will be collected first, allowed to condense. So hence, you are going to see the metal with low boiling point is separated first, whereas impurities being having high boiling point compared to the metal, or you can say that impurities are having low rate of evaporation, or you can say it as being less volatile when compared to the metals. Impurities being less volatile when compared to the metal, so they will not escape into vapor phase at the temperature maintained. Hence, the impurities are get separated from the associated metal. So thereby its purification can be achieved. Now, we can easily understand that. So through the technique of distillation, low boiling point metals can be easily refined. Now we'll observe the second method. Now we'll observe the second method of refining, which is liquation. So this method is useful for refining of metals with low melting points. These metals with low melting point can be easily refined through the technique of liquation. Best example to remember is tin. Symbol of the metal tin is Sn. Now, how the refining through liquation is done, you can observe. So it is in the method, a sloped platform will be taken. A sloped surface or a sloped platform. The sloped surface or platform is maintained with melting point temperature of metal. A sloped platform, so that is maintained with a temperature of the melting point of the metal. Now whatever the extracted metal associated with impurity is taken on the sloped platform. So metal with low melting point will melt first. The metal with low melting point will melt first and is collected. So that will slide across the sloped platforms and will be collected. Whereas impurities with high melting point, so they remain on the surface. Hope it is clear, which is a simple technique. So onto the sloped platform which is taken. So you're going to have the extracted metal associated with impurity. So once the sloped platform is maintained with melting point temperature, so when compared with the impurity and the desired metal, metal with low melting point, its melting point temperature is maintained here. As a result of this, metal will melt first and will be collected, whereas the impurities being with high melting point, they remain on the sloped path. They remain on the sloped platform. Thereby, so you can consider, so liquefaction is achieving the refining of the desired metal, so which is a very simple technique. Now we'll try to observe the third method, which is electrolytic method of refining. Electrolytic method of refining. So already we know that electrolytic method, so it is the application of electrical energy to bring down the chemical change. It is through electrical energy, external electrical energy, you are bringing down the chemical change, that is lysis of the compound. Conversion of electrical energy to chemical energy. So this method is used for almost all the metals to purify. Here, the impure metal, that is extracted metal, is taken as anode material. The impure metal, so that is after its isolation, whatever the extracted metal associated with small amount of impurity is taken as anode, and the same metal in its pure form is connected as cathode. That means whatever the metal you are purifying, so the available metals pure form, a small strip of the pure form of the metal is taken and connected as cathode. It is, if you consider an electrolytic cell, it is extracted metal associated with impurity, either in the solution form or in the molten form. Molten or the solution form of the extracted metal is taken in electrolytic cell, and to the electrolytic cell you are placing two electrodes. One electrode is from the impure extracted metal what you have taken, so it is anode. So anode is your impure extracted metal, and cathode you can consider the same metal in its pure form. So anode and the cathode. Now during electrolysis, what happens is that, so the metal present in the impure metal electrode that is connected as anode, the metal loses its electron the metal loses its electron and will become cation. Hence, oxidation of metal to metal ion takes place at the anode. Whatever the metal present in the impure electrode will dissolve from the electrode as metal ion into the solution. Now the metal is present in solid form as electrode, which will come into the aqueous or the molten form to the solution, so due to its oxidation. Then at the surface of cathode, this dissolved metal ions gains the required mole of electrons and gets reduced as metal. Hence the reduction reaction takes place at cathode. So thereby, the metal present in the impure electrode dissolves first, comes into the solution, then the dissolved metal slowly moves to the cathode surface, gains the electron, and it gets deposited onto the electrode. And once the process of electrolysis is complete, all the metal in the anode is getting deposited onto the cathode surface. Now, increase in mass of cathode can be considered whatever the quantity of metal gets refined in the process. So this is how it is achieved. So I can consider with a simple example to understand the process. For example, we need to refine copper. So we will connect the copper as anode, the impure copper. So due to its oxidation, as Cu+2 ions will come into the solution. So this will be the anode reaction. At cathode, so these dissolved ions which are coming into the solution, so they gain the electrons. Every Cu+2 will accept 2 electrons as a reduction process and gets reduced to the solid metal at the cathode. So thereby, so the copper present in the extracted metal so will be purified as pure form on the surface of cathode. So this is how through electrolytic method so refining is done. So it's not a complicated, it's very simple one. Try to observe. So you are connecting the impure metal as anode and the pure metal of that as cathode. Once the process of electrolysis is done, so all the metal present in the impure metal electrode so will dissolve into the solution and gets deposited on the cathode surface. So thereby the purification is achieved. I will observe the next method. It is zone refining. If we observe the principle of zone refining, we compare the impurities and the metal in the extracted form. Impurities are more soluble in melt or the molten form than the solid metal. Impurities are more soluble in the molten form or in the melt when compared in solid metal. So this is the main principle behind the zone refining technique. The main principle behind the zone refining technique. So in the technique, a circular mobile heater is taken and it is fixed at one end of the extracted metal rod. And it is moved across the complete length of the impure metal electrode. What happens in the process to understand it, so we'll learn through a simple diagram now. So if you consider the extracted metal, a impure metal rod, impure metal rod. To this, you try to fix a circular mobile heater. Assume this is what you have connected, a circular mobile heater. Now, the role of this circular mobile heater is that, so this particular area which is under the heater, its circular form of the heater, will undergo melting. So once this circular mobile heater is slowly moving across the length of the electrode, that area is going to melt, and behind this, the metal gets crystallized and will convert it into solid form. So in the area, molten form will be there. Behind this, the metal gets solidified. So like this, the heater is continuously moved slowly along the length of the electrode. So this process is not a one-time process. It is repeated for several times. This circular mobile heater is continuously moved along the length of the electrode for n number of times until you ensure that all the impurities are removed from the electrode. Now, during this movement, what happens is the principle to understand. Now, during the movement, the impurities being more soluble in the melt, they comes into the molten form, whereas if it is moved further across the length, so molten mass carries the impurities, whereas a metal gets crystallized and will solidify behind. So thereby, so the impurity is slowly carried towards one end of the electrode. Assume this is the impure end. That is, impurities associated towards one end if this process is repeated for n number of times. So through circular mobile heater, what you are doing? So through the circular mobile heater, you are moving across the length of the electrode. So once it is moved, impurities being more soluble, in the melt, they come to the molten form. They dissolve in it, or they carry through the melt. So impurities being more soluble in the melt, so they become soluble or they carry through the melt, whereas the metal gets crystallized behind. So if this process is repeated for several times, the process is repeated for several times, what happens? All the impurities concentrated towards one end, to one end of the rod, towards one end of the metal rod what you have taken, you are going to concentrate all the impurities. Now finally, the end is cut and removed to get the pure metal rod. So once you ensure that all the impurities are situated towards one of the corner, that is one of the end of the rod taken, so you are going to cut the respective impurity end to get the refined metal or the pure metal. So this is how the refining is done. So try to observe, it is a very important one. So principle can be expected as a 1 mark question with example, or the process you can expect it for a direct 2 mark question. So the main principle of zone refining is that impurities will be more soluble in the molten form than in the solid metal. As a result of this, if you take the impure metal and if you move the circular mobile heater across the length of the electrode or the metal rod, so all the impurities will carry to one of the end and the metal remains in the rod. So after several times the process is repeated, the impure end is cut and removed to get the pure metal. So the important examples for this particular zone refining method is that The main examples being semiconductors. The best method, that is semiconductors with high purity, can be done through the process of zone refining. Such examples of semiconductors, it is silicon, germanium. So these elements you can easily remember. The important semiconductors, silicon, germanium. Along with this, you can mention boron, gallium, indium. Any of the examples you can remember. Try to remember the semiconductors as the important examples of elements refined through zone refining technique, the silicon and germanium. I will move to the next method. That is the fifth method, vapor phase refining. Again, a very important method. You can expect it with the equations of the two processes involved as examples under vapor phase refining as direct 2-mark questions. The main condition for the elements or the metals to refine through vapor phase refining, you need to remember first. So concentrate the conditions. Now, whatever the element which has to be purified through vapor phase refining, so it should form a complex easily. Now, whatever the available reagent given in the process, with it, a suitable reagent has to be selected here. So with that available reagent, the metal present in the extracted form should easily combine to form a complex. Here complex refers to a complex ion or a coordination compound, you can recall. So the metal should combine with the available reagent and it should form a complex ion easily. So this is the first condition for a metal to purify through vapor phase refining. The second condition is that the complex should easily decompose by heating to higher temperature. If you heat that particular complex to a higher temperature, the complex should undergo easy decomposition to get the metal back. If these two conditions are satisfied for a metal, then only we can use the vapor phase refining technique. It is not applicable for all the metals. It is applicable for the metals which are satisfying these two conditions. A metals with available reagent should form a complex ion, and that complex ion should undergo easy decomposition by heating to high temperature. So these are the two important conditions for vapor phase refining. So through the Mons process and Van Arkel method, we'll try to understand this vapor phase refining. So the first one, it is Mons process. So it is equation based topic. So you need to explain the process of refining of this with the help of balanced equations and the temperature conditions. The Mons process is used for refining of nickel. So it is asked for many times for 1-mark question, both Mons and Van Arkel method. So which metal is refined through the process? So can be expected as a very important 1-mark question. So refining of nickel. Mons process is used for refining of nickel. Now how it is done? So you need to remember the available reagent. Here the suitable reagent used is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. Now, the extracted metal, which is associated with the impurity, is made to pass through with carbon monoxide gas at a temperature of nearly 330 to 350 Kelvin. So the extracted metal, so which is with association of impurities, is made to pass through with carbon monoxide. As a result, the metal, that is the nickel present in that, will combine with carbon monoxide and forms a complex. It is NiCO 4 times. So to understand it is a complex ion, so you better prefer to write that in square bracket. Now this is the complex form. It is nickel with 4 moles of carbon monoxide will form a coordination complex ion. It is nickel tetracarbonyl. Now this complex you are going to heat. So generally the reactions of this, once you learn first reaction, the reverse of that will be the second step. As reactions will not be a complicated one, so give importance to remember the temperature conditions here. So it's almost 100 degree higher. It is 450 Kelvin to 470 Kelvin. So easy to remember, 20 degrees difference here, 330 to 350. From 350, 100 degree rise, 450. Again the difference here 20 degrees. As 330 to 350, 450 to 470. So between the two steps, the increase in temperature is nearly 100 degrees. Now under this temperature, so nickel will decompose from the complex and you will get the carbon monoxide gas back. Now this you need to represent with balanced equation. Now what you have learned, so that you need to write it with a simple equation. Now nickel present in the extracted metal will combine with 4 moles of carbon monoxide if it is heated with a temperature of 330 to 350 Kelvin temperature and will form a complex NiCO 4 times. So this is the first step, first reaction. Now the second, what happens? So this first one explains the first condition. It should form, that is the metal should form a complex, that is NiCO4, with available reagent. The available reagent here is carbon monoxide. So then NiCO 4 times. So this complex upon heated to higher temperature should easily decompose to give the metal. Here the temperature, it is 450 to 470 Kelvin. If it is heated, the complex undergo decomposition to give nickel and carbon monoxide back. So this is how the Mons process is used for refining of nickel. So the extracted metal contain nickel, so it is treated with carbon monoxide gas at a temperature of 330 to 350 Kelvin. So it forms a complex nickel tetracarbonyl. So which upon heated to a higher temperature, that is 450 to 470 Kelvin, you are going to get the decomposed product as the metal and the used available reagent. So hence, if you observe the first step, so the forward reaction of this, the reverse of this if you write, will be the second step. Temperature conditions, try to remember. Similarly, Van Arkel method is used for refining of zirconium and titanium. It is Van Arkel method of refining. It is used for refining of zirconium and titanium. So anything can be asked. So preferably zirconium is easy to remember. So instead of zirconium, we can replace with titanium also. So we'll try to learn the Van Arkel method with zirconium as an example. Now, the reagent used, that is the reagent used for forming the complex here is, it is iodine. In Mons process, it is carbon monoxide. So in Van Arkel method, iodine is used to form the complex with extracted metal. Now here, so zirconium or titanium, if it is treated with iodine, so it will form a complex ZrI4. So based on that, you can remember the valency. It is 2-8. So when zirconium is passed with iodine gas, it will form a complex ZrI4. Again, it is a complex, so volatile complex. Here, whatever the complex which is formed here, so should be a volatile complex. Volatile refers to which is easily evaporating component. So such that impurities will be left there, whereas the complex being volatile in nature will easily escape into vapor phase. So volatile complex formed is zirconium iodide. If you use titanium, so it will be titanium iodide. The formula will be same. That is formula with refers to iodine combination. It is titanium TiI4. So Ti plus 2I2 gives rise to TiI4. Now the zirconium iodide complex which is obtained is heated on tungsten filament. So like electric bulb you can think, so which is maintained with a very high temperature, nearly 1800 Kelvin. It is tungsten filament of electric bulb, you can recall. Under such surface, the complex is made to pass at a temperature of 1800 Kelvin. Complex undergoes decomposition to give zirconium and iodine back. Now in both the process, so in the first step we are observing from the extracted metal, metal is combining with the available reagent to form volatile complex, whereas impurities will remain there. Once the volatile complex is formed as nickel tetracarbonyl in Mond's process or zirconium iodide in the case of Van Arkel method, being volatile, they easily escape into vapor phase. And from the vapor phase, if you increase to a higher temperature, if you collected that, and if you increase the temperature, that complex undergoes decomposition to give the metal back. Thereby, impurities are removed from the extracted metal. So we'll move to the last method, which is chromatographic method. So already we learned this in our first PhD syllabus. You can recall that in detail with all the types we mentioned. Now we'll try to learn in brief the chromatographic method for the extraction of metals. Now the metals and the impurities which are exhibiting similar chemical behavior. The chemical behavior of the metals associated with impurities. So if it is same, or the metals which are available with lesser quantity, the sample which is isolated is containing the lesser quantity of the metal in it, then the most suitable method for extraction or refining will be chromatographic method. Here the column chromatography is used. Column chromatography, that is through adsorption principle. Now we know that in column chromatography, a long column will be taken which is packed with a suitable adsorbent material. The metal associated with extracted form in impurities will be mixed with a suitable solvent and it is made to pass through with adsorbent column. Here, based on the rate of adsorption, the components present in the mixture get separated. So based on the rate of adsorption in the adsorbent material, so the components present in the mixture get separated to a different extent. Along with the metal, whatever the impurity associated, so their rate of adsorption will not be same. Hence, so based on their rate of adsorption, So they get separated in the column. So the suitable portion where our desired metal is present, so that is taken with in purified form. So this is how chromatographic method is used for purification of metals. So with this, we completed all the theoretical concepts from the unit. Already we discussed all the important metals, so you can recall their uses, which is also important to understand the concepts. So uses of iron, copper, aluminium, zinc, we can easily relate to remember. So with this, we completed unit 6. So we'll continue with our next class. Thank you.